Why is J-Hope the only one who congratulates Jin on his victory day? Where did the other BTS members go? Is it true that they are silent not because they forget, except for jealousy? And what exactly is the genie secretly preparing? This emotional phrase and great surprise recorded live made the ARMY cry in disbelief. Is their friendship being tested? Only J-Hope congratulates Jin. What happened to the other BTS members? Why does only one name sound? Why only one voice sounded out loud saying, "Congratulations, Hyung." When the world celebrates the great victory of the Jin, between camera highlights, thousands of ARMY comments, and a sea of love from around the world, one question hangs in the air and hasn't found an answer yet. Where are the other BTS members? The live special, which aired hours after Jin was announced to have won the prestigious award for his contribution to the music world and his solo project, was supposed to be a moment of hugs, laughter, and happy tears from all 7 BTS members. But instead, only J-Hope was present. Only J-Hope greeted, said Jin's name, and congratulated with a sincere smile, but behind it holds many mysteries. Is it true that only J-Hope is really happy about Jin's victory? It's true that other members are silent not because they forget, except for feeling left out. That speech sounds so simple. But when only one of the 6 brothers spoke, the speech turned into a silent scream among the sea of silence. The ARMY that was listening to the live began to question not only who was present, but who did not appear. And more than that, why didn't they show up? BTS is known for the strength of the bond they have built over more than a decade. That night, however, the ties looked like thin threads that were shaken. J-Hope comes with a gray hoodie, a soft expression, and a voice that trembles when he says Jin's name. "I'm so proud of you, Hyung," she said, before her eyes staring blankly as if looking for someone, or perhaps waiting for something that never came on the other side of the screen. ARMY realizes that none of Taehyung, Jungkook, Jimin, RM, or Suga's names are mentioned in that moment. Even after the live ended, there were no uploads, no comments. Their silence so hard. Are they really jealous? Does Jin's victory reveal the hidden wounds in their relationship? Is this the first time in BTS's history that we've witnessed subtle cracks in harmony that have always seemed perfect? It didn't take long for the speculation to explode. ARMY's comments flooded the platform with questions. Why did only hobbies appear? What happened between them? And is the genie being shunned? But the most shocking moment actually came from Jin himself. In the middle of a live special held suddenly a few days after the incident, Jin appeared. His face was calm, but his eyes kept something. He did not immediately discuss who congratulated him or not. He's not cornering anyone. But it was precisely from his calmness that a surprising hint emerged. "For me, it's not about who is present or who is not," Jin said with a smile. "I prepared something for us. Songs. A song I'll only listen to for the first time when we all get together again as 7. The quiet atmosphere. Even J-Hope sitting next to him looks away, his eyes widened. Jimin, who later entered the room awkwardly, immediately stopped in the doorway. "Hyung, are you serious?" Jimin whispered, barely audible. Jin nodded. "It's not just a song, it's our story." Jimin's expression changed. From shock into something deeper. There is guilt. There were tears. But the most obvious is the sense of loss. A sense of loss that slowly reveals the truth that has been hidden. That maybe Jin's victory has disturbed something in the hearts of other members who have been held back. Do they really think the genie is going too far without them? Are they afraid of being left behind? Or are they struggling with the guilt of not being fully there for him? In between Genie's gentle sentences, ARMY began to put together pieces of the puzzle. Jin didn't blame anyone, but every utterance is a subtle satire, a love-wrapped sentence that conveys more than just a word. When we're 8, 6, 7, and all of you, I want you to hear this song without thinking who wrote it, but remember who's waiting for you to come home, she said. The remark hit not only the BTS members, but the entire audience. That night, J-Hope looks like he's holding something back. His eyes warmed. Jimin looked down for a long time. Could it be that they knew that Jin was harboring wounds from feeling like he was standing alone when the spotlight finally came to him? And more than that, could it be that they didn't know that Jin had forgiven them before they even realized they hurt him? The live ended in silence. No cover music. No gimmicks. Only Jin said, "Until there are 7 of us again, I will keep writing." And when the screen is off, the army can only ask, why is silence louder than applause? Why in Jin's happiest moment, only JHope dares to be present? And what really happened behind the camera, between BTS members who used to always look inseparable? Is this the beginning of distance, or rather a step towards healing? One thing is certain. The song has not yet been released. But the song had already touched everyone's heart, even before it was played. And when that day comes, when the 7 BTS members sit together listening to it for the first time, maybe then we'll all know who really existed from the beginning and who only appeared at the end. And until that day comes, only one name echoes in the hearts of many: JHope, the only one to congratulate, but perhaps also the only one who best understands what it means to be a brother. Shortly after Jin's emotional live and JHope's single speech that touched millions of hearts, various reactions sprang up. ARMY is torn between trying to understand the attitudes of other members and those who are beginning to sense that something has changed. It wasn't just Jin who was injured, but also BTS as a whole. What really happened that night? The question resonated across social media, as if everyone wanted to know why only JHope was present, voicing pride and love. Why is Taehyung, who is usually sensitive, silent? Why does Suga, who often gives wise sentences, choose silence? And why does ARMY leader, who always appears to unite them, this time seem to disappear without a trace? Many could not accept the fact that on the most meaningful night in Jin's life, the other 6 brothers seemed to close the curtain. But those who listen with an open heart can see, it's not just ego or jealousy. There was a deep wound between them, which all this time they covered with laughter, stage, and cheers. But that night, all those layers collapsed. Does Jins Victory open up old wounds that haven't healed yet? In an old interview that is now back viral, Jin once said with a joking tone but eyes that didn't laugh, "Sometimes, when I talk about my solo, they don't seem too interested. Maybe it's because I'm not mean anymore, or because I talk too much." At the time, everyone was laughing. But now, that sentence is like a warning that was ignored. Jins Victory is not just about trophies or recognition. This is the point where he shows that he is not only the oldest Hyung, but also a true artist. And ironically, as he stood at the top, he stood alone, except for hobbies. Then, what exactly is the attitude of the other members after the live? The next day, Jimin is seen appearing in a short broadcast on Weverse. The smile is there, but it looks forced. He simply said, "Congratulations to Jin Hyung. Sorry I didn't get to say hello yesterday." There is much to be done, but his words sounded flat. Without eye contact with the camera, without tears, without the usual sincerity emerging from him, the army is not silent. Thousands of comments appeared. "Why don't you come with me, Chim? Are you and Jin in trouble?" Our hearts hurt to see Jin himself. Jimin did not answer a single comment. It just shut down the broadcast faster than usual. Taehyung was even quieter. He only uploaded a photo of a night scene and a crescent moon emoji. But as always, the army read deeper. Crescent moon, symbol of tranquility or loneliness. Was it a silent message from Taehyung that he was regretting something, or on the contrary, was insinuating something? Meanwhile, RM is seen actively uploading about his personal projects without mentioning anything about Jin. Even Suga, who is usually full of supportive words, chose total silence. No speech, no reaction. As if the night of the Jins Victory was a night that did not happen in their world. Were they hiding? Is this silence intentional? Or a silent protest? And as if adding coals to the charcoal that had not yet been extinguished, the Jin reappeared on the 3rd day. This time not in a live broadcast, but in a long message he wrote on Weverse. In the message, he said, "This victory is not just mine. This is also yours, my members. But I realize sometimes when we're together too long, we forget how to show it. I'm not angry. I miss the old US." That last sentence struck like lightning. I miss the old US. Is the genie affirming that their togetherness has changed? Is he saying that he feels like he's no longer a part of BTS? And most surprisingly, finally leaked about the secret song was revealed. A producer close to Jin, via a post that was immediately deleted minutes later, revealed that the song was titled 7 Nights Before Sunrise, a song Jin wrote during his lonely nights at a military training camp, when all the members were busy with their respective projects. The lyrics, some of which have been leaked. I waited on the 7th night, staring at your reflection in the 10th star. Your. This question arises like an unavoidable shadow. In the past, BTS has always said that they are not just colleagues, but family. But now, after Jin's winning night passed without a hug from the other 6 members, besides J-Hope, the public is starting to see the gap they've been covering for a long time. BTS's togetherness is sacred to ARMY. But that night changed everything. There is something that can no longer be hidden. Not because of hatred, but because of distance. Not because of betrayal, but because of the difference in the direction of the heart that slowly grows over time. And when J-Hope and Jimin finally talk about Jin's secret song in a broadcast from their old rehearsal room, the mood turns very emotional. Jimin is crying. Not just crying out of guilt, but like someone who regrets something that's been buried for too long. I think we still have time, Jimin said, looking down, but it turned out that our time together was only in pieces. J-Hope later said the sentence that made the broadcast went viral across platforms. We forget that love does not last alone. Must be treated. And yes, we were too busy growing each other's trees to forget about the same roots. ARMY instantly rocked social media with hashtags. Hashtag we miss our BTS, hashtag please listen to Jin's song, hashtag 7 nights before sunrise. Hundreds of thousands of fans began making fan-edited videos using snippets of Jin's messages and leaked lyrics. The sound of crying began to be felt not only from BTS, but from millions of hearts that used to be united by the same dream. But where's Taehyung? Where's Jungkook? Why are the 2 closest figures to Jin now precisely disappeared? ARMY began to speculate. Some believe that V and JK are up to something, either in the form of an apology or maybe a response in the form of a countersong. But an even more surprising rumor came from a source within the agency. Taehyung had asked HYB for permission to meet Jin in person without a camera, without an official schedule. Did that meeting happen? No one knows for sure. But a fan with a large fan base said he saw Taehyung near where Jin was doing his military training. No bodyguards, no staff. Just shut up, bring a small envelope and a CD box. Secret meeting? Or an apology that the public doesn't want to know about. But not finished, the news subsided. It was Jungkook's turn to be in the spotlight. He deleted almost all of his old posts on Instagram. Some of his live videos are also unavailable. Only one story left in white letters. I learned to love in silence and failed. Immediately, thousands of fans speculated that the words were intended for Jin. Is Jungkook sorry for not taking part in Hyung's victory? Is he too late in his solo project to forget who always stood up for him and hugged him when he was down? And like a piece of a puzzle that begins to find its place, we see that this wound does not belong only to the genie. All the members were injured. Only they chose to hide it in their own way, but this story is not finished. It's just beginning that a few weeks after the emotional live, Korean media were shocked by the news that all BTS members, including Jin, who is currently serving in the military, would attend a secret session to hear the song 7 Nights Before Sunrise together. The session was not aired live. There are no official cameras, no media. Only there are 7 people and a small team from the agency in charge of ensuring full privacy. But one person in the room, who is not identified, leaked one thing to the fan site media. As soon as the song played, it only took 10 seconds before everyone cried. The song did not last long, only about 3 minutes and 15 seconds. But its content, according to the source, is like an open letter from a brother who forgives despite never being given an apology. At the end of the song, the genie sings a line that hits every chest. If you can't hug me when I'm standing, hug me when I'm falling. I'll still call you my family. And right after the song finished, J-Hope stood up and hugged Jin without saying anything. Jimin followed with a shudder. Suga wiped away his tears silently. RM looked down with both hands covering his face. And Taehyung, yes, Taehyung, who hadn't spoken for weeks, patted Jin's back, saying quietly, "You are the center, even if we turn the other way." But the most emotional moment came from Jungkook. He approached Jin, and for the first time in front of all the members,